Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the lecture of analog and digital communication. So, today's topic is differential pulse code modulation. In earlier lecture, we have done analysis of pulse code modulation, that is PCM. In that analysis, we have seen the pulse code modulation. We are having an analog signal and we are digitizing the signal using PCM. So in PCM we are first sampling the signal, then the quantizing, we are rounding of its amplitude level, that is called as quantization, and after quantization we are having the encoder. So the sample value which are quantized are now digitized by the encoder. So this is the brief of PCM, and we have done the analysis. In analysis we have seen we are having noise that is called as quantization noise. Now the quantization noise is given by, let us take this Qn, so that is dependent upon del V square by 12. We have calculated this and this will be equal to del V square by 12, where del V is our quantization level. So we have defined this del V is equal to 2mp by L, where L is our number of level, how many numbers we are taking for the uh, so L is also given by L is equal to 2 raised to n, where n is number of bit used to represent a particular level. Let's take we are having a 8 different level, so we require n is equal to 3. If we are having a 16 different level, then n is equal to 4. And from the analysis we have seen that the signal to noise ratio, we are having a quantization noise, we are having a signal to noise, so signal to noise ratio is 3l square m square t divided by mp square. And from this we have analyzed that the signal to noise ratio in PCM is alpha plus 6n. So it will be depending upon number of bit. It is approximately 6 times the number of bit. If we are having a number of bit is equal to 3, then the approximate signal to noise ratio will be around 18 dB. So this is the brief of pulse code modulation. One more thing, we have defined a transmission bandwidth, that is called BT. BT is n time the bandwidth of the signal, or it is related to number of bit we are taking for the number of bit used to code the particular sample. So BT is related to, that is BT is called transmission bandwidth, that is related to bit bandwidth of signal by number of bits. So more the number of bit, we require more transmission bandwidth and more signal to noise ratio will be there. One important observation is the quantization noise is proportional to quantization level, that is del V. So if this quantization level is more, then there will be more noise and less signal to noise ratio. So in order to rectify this problem, there is other modulation scheme that is called differential pulse code modulation. So pulse code modulation have some disadvantage, like it require a large number of bit to, so we are having a sample, we are having a, first of all we are having a continuous signal, we are sampling it by discretizing, we are sampling and discretizing the signal, and we are quantizing, so we are rounding off its value, and then we are coding. So each sample we are coding by some predefined number of bit. Let it be bit, we are encoding with 3 bits, so each sample will occupy 3 bits. Now so overall number of bit for a particular signal will be more. Now we want to decrease the number of bit, because more the number of bit, it means it will occupy more bandwidth, and so PCM require more bandwidth because each and every signal samples are encoded. In DPCM, that is called differential pulse code modulation, will overcome this disadvantage of PC. So we'll see what is exactly a DPCM. So in analog messages, we can make a good guess about the sample value from the knowledge of its past sample values. In other words, the sample values are not independent, and generally this is generally there is a great deal of redundancy in Nyquist sample. So more the number of samples, it means if we are taking only two samples, then also we are able to reconstruct the signal. But if we are taking more number of samples, then we are able to reconstruct the signal more uh, with less distortion, but there will be redundancy. So the great deal of redundancy in a there are great deal of redundancy in a Nyquist sample. So proper exploitation of this redundancy leads to encoding a signal with a lesser number of bit. So we will remove this redundant bit, and by doing this we are transmitting less number of bit. Consider a simple scheme where instead of transmitting the sample value, we transmit the difference between the successive sample. So what we are doing in a PCM, we are transmitting, for each sample we are transmitting the designated number of bits. But now in a differential PCM, this is a special case of differential PCM, or simply DPCM, where instead of transmitting the sample value, we are transmitting the difference between two sample value. Let us take, we are having signal mt is our signal, so its sample version is mk. So we are taking sample at kth instant, so it will be mk. So mk is some kth instant of our signal mt, and instead of starting sending this mk, we are transmitting the difference, that is dk. We are transmitting this difference, that is dk, that will be difference of our kth sample minus k minus 1 sample. So we are not transmitting this mk, but we are transmitting this difference, that is dk is equal to mk minus 1. So at the receiver, knowing the value of this dk, we are receiving this dk. So knowing this value of dk and knowing the previous sample value, that is mk minus 1, so at receiver, knowing the value of dk and the previous sample value, that is mk minus 1, adding these two will give us our actual sample, that is mk. So mk is equal to dk plus mk minus 1. So this is special case of DPCM. This is a special case of differential pulse code modulation. We are transmitting the difference, that's why the name is differential pulse code modulation. So this is the special special case of DPCM or basic DPCM, basic differential pulse code modulation, where we are transmitting the difference of successive sample mk minus mk minus 1. Now why we are doing this? So from the knowledge of dk, we can reconstruct the signal mk at the receiver. Now the difference between successive sample is generally much smaller than the sample value. So in the PCM, this is our signal and these are our sample instants. So if we'll take a difference, or let us take, these are the sample values. So if we'll take the difference between two successive values, then difference is quite large. But if we'll transmit the difference between these successive values, then this voltage level is small. So let us take, this is your 5 volt and this is your 3 volt. So instead of transmitting the bit corresponding to 5 volt or 3 volt, will transmit the difference between these two. So the difference between these two is 2 volt. So decay is 2 volt. Will transmit decay, that is 2 volt, where mk is 5 and mk minus 1 is 3. So we'll transmit decay, that will be 2 volt. So this is basically a DPCM. Now why we are doing this? So doing this, the delta V, that is quantization interval, which is proportional to 2 mp by L, or simply I will tell this will be equal to mp by L, where mp is the peak of the quantization level and L is number of level. So the quantization error is equal to del V square by 12. So more the number of this del V, there is more the quantization gap, more will be the quantization error. So if this delta V is small, then quantization error, that will be called Qn, will become less if delta V will be less. And exactly we are doing this, we are decreasing this delta V by transmitting only difference between two signal. So delta V will decrease, which will decrease Qn. So ultimately signal to noise ratio will increase, because noise is decreasing, it means signal to noise ratio will increase. So this is called basic DPCM, where we are transmitting the difference between successive sample mk minus mk minus 1. So the improve, we also can improve, this is our basic DPCM. We can improve this DPCM still further. What we are doing here, we are transmitting the sample and its next sample value, that is a successive sample value. Now instead of transmitting this mk and mk minus 1, so we will, in actual DPCM, we are transmitting the difference between, we are transmitting difference, that is dk, between the kth sample of signal mk, and we are predicting this signal, that is called mcap. And okay, so this is the predicted version of our signal, predicted sample, and this is actual sample, and this will be your difference of sample value. So we are transmitting the difference of actual sample and the predicted sample value. So now this difference will be still less, so this delta will become still less, that is quantization level will be very much less. So since this delta V will be less, then delta V square by L will be small and signal to noise ratio will increase. So this is the improved DPCM. This technique is called improved DPCM, where we are transmitting improved DPCM. It will have more signal to noise ratio compared to the earlier, that is the basic DPCM, where we are transmitting mk minus mk minus 1. Now the question arises is before this, so this is what we will transmit. Now at the receiver we have to recover our signal, so that can be, so this will be at the transmitter side, and at the receiver side we are able to reconstruct the signal by knowing this difference dk, and knowing, we also predict the same thing at the receiver side. So we are having same type of predictor at the receiver also, so which will predict this m dash k. So by knowing this difference of the signal dk and knowing this predicted sample value m dash k or m cap k, we are able to recover our sample value, that is mk. So this is our transmitter and receiver of the DPCM. Now so we reconstruct the sample at the receiver iteratively. If one predictive prediction is worth its all, the predicted value mk will be close to mkn, and the difference will be even smaller than the difference between the successive sample. Consequently, this scheme known as differential PCM is superior to the described in the previous scheme, that is the basic scheme. So this is also called as special case of DPCM, that is basic DPCM. So this is different kind of a DPCM. Now the question arises, how we can predict this sample value? How to predict the sample value? What will be the circuitry inside this predictor? So how to predict the sample value? So this can be done using the Taylor series. We'll use mathematical tool that is called Taylor series, that is known to all of you. So Taylor series is nothing but it is basically, so this is your Taylor series. We are having signal mt. So the future value of signal or future value of sample, that is mt plus ts, or simply the Taylor series of mt plus ts is equal to mt plus ts m dash t, that is the first order differential, then plus ts square divided by 2, then m double dash t, then and so on. So we are having this Taylor series. We are very much known with this series, Taylor series. So we can have any expansion using Taylor series. So you can see here we are having mt plus ts, that is the future value. T is our present value, so it is predicting the future value, that is m plus ts, and that is given by, if we are taking only the first term, then it will be mt plus ts time m dash t. So it is the first differential. So the signal at particular time plus the first differential of our signal multiply by the time, that is ts, that will give us the future sample value mt plus ts. So in terms of a sample, it is given by mk plus 1 is equal to mk. Mk is our kth sample, and we are determining this k plus 1 sample. So mk plus 1 is equal to mk plus, now what is this differential? Differential is nothing but the difference between two successive sample, the present sample and the previous sample, and which is uh, uh, this sample is divided by ts. This is the actual definition of differentiation. So there is difference between two sample, and which is defined which is divided by the sample time. So mk minus 1 divided by ts, which is shown here, this will be the differential value, that is m dash t. So we will substitute this differential, that is mk minus 1 divided by ts, in this equation, and this ts will cancel out, and so there will be mk plus mk, so this will be 2mk minus mk minus 1. So you can see that mk plus 1, that is the future value. So this shows that we can find the prediction of k plus 1 sample from the two previous samples. The approximate this approximation improves as we add more terms in the series on the right hand side. So to determine the higher order derivative in the series, we require more sample in the past. The larger the number of past sample we use, the better will be the prediction. Thus in general, we can express the prediction formula, which is given here. It is mk is equal to, so we'll do minus 1 every in left hand side as well as right hand side. So this is mk plus 1 minus 1, so this will be mk is equal to a1. A1 is, so it is the multiplier constant, a1 minus, so a1 mk minus 1 plus a2 mk minus 2 plus m3 a3 mk minus 3, and so on an mk minus n. So more the number of fast samples, more the number of samples will add, we are having more accurate prediction. So this is the equation of nth order predictor. Larger n would result in a better prediction in general. The output of this filter, that is the output of this predictor. So this predictor is given by this. So the output of this filter, that is the predicted value mk. It will predict this value, that is the output will be m dash k or m cap k. Our input signal is mk and we are introducing some delay. So this is first delay, so it will delay our sample by 1 second. So instead of getting mk at the output of this, we are having mk minus 1. This will be multiplied by a1, so we'll get m1 mk minus 1 plus, and this will be added here, all the sample value, all the delayed value will be added, plus this will be, this is seeing 2 delay, so this will be mk minus 1 minus 1, so this will be mk minus 2, which is multiplied by a2, so this will be a2 mk minus 2. Now these samples, that is a1 mk minus 1 and a2 mk minus 2 will be added, and so on, we'll get the predicted output value. So this will output will be m dash k. So this is the way we can have a prediction of the sample. So we can easily predict this sample value by knowing the previous sample value, that is mk minus 1 mk minus 2 and so on. So knowing more the number of previous sample values, we can predict the future value of our sample. So this predictor we are going to use in a DPCM. So these are the transmitter and receiver of DPCM. So we have seen the improved DPCM. In improved DPCM, we are transmitting, sorry, in improved DPCM, we are transmitting the difference of the signal, that is kth sample, and its predicted value. So you can see this dk is mk minus mqk, m cap qk, where q is the quantized value of our sample. Now we, this, the difference is that dk is mk minus mqk. Now we want to digitize this sample value, so we'll do the quantization. So dk, after quantization it will be dqk. So dqk is the quantized version of our difference of the signal, and this signal will transmit to the channel. So this will be our transmitter. Now to better predict this mqk, we have seen here in earlier, we must have a predictor to predict the value of mqk. So the mqk can be predicted using this predictor. So this predictor will use the previous sample value and dqk. So dqk we can have a, so by knowing this difference and the sample value, that is dqk plus mqk, we can have dqk plus the predicted value of mqk, we can have this mqk, that is the quantized value of our kth sample. So this dqk plus quantized predicted value, that is m dash qk, will give us mqk. So we are having this predictor in our feedback path, so that we are having the predicted value of mqk. So at the, these signal values will goes to the this summer, which will, so this is the differential. So this will take difference of the actual signal value mk and the predicted sample value, that is m dash qk, and this will produce a difference. So this is the transmitter of our DPCM. At the receiver, we are having a dqk. This is, this has been transmitted, so at the dqk we are having the dqk, and we already know the same predictor we are using at the receiver also, so which will predict the sample value, that is mqk. So dqk plus mqk will give us the quantized value of our signal. So this is the receiver. This is same as the what we are using in the feedback. So this is the analysis of DPCM signal. This is the signal we are transmitting, that is. So as mentioned earlier, in a DPCM we transmit not the present sample value mk but dk, where dk is mk minus m dash qk. So difference between mk and its predicted value, that is m dash k. At the receiver we generate m dash k from the past sample values to which the received dk is added to generate mk. So at the receiver we are adding the difference, and this uh, difference between the these two, and this will go this side. So dk plus mqk will give us this mk. But one difficulty is there in this scheme. At the receiver, instead of the past sample value, there is mk, mk minus 1, mk minus 2, mk minus 3, and so on, as well as dk, we have their quantized version of the signal, that is mqk minus 1 and mqk minus 2, mqk minus 3, and so on. Hence we cannot determine m dash k, that is the actual signal, actual predicted value of signal. Instead, we can only determine m dash q, that is the quantized signal value. We are not determining mq, but we are determining mqk, that is the quantized signal, because it will have the mq plus the noise, that is the quantization noise. So dqk is nothing but the difference value plus some quantization noise. It is, this is the actual difference, but it will add some quantization noise. So we are having dqk is equal to dk, that is the difference signal, plus some noise, that is quantization noise, which will give us the quantization difference, that is dk plus qk. So instead of we want this dk, but we are getting this dqk because we are doing quantization of the signal. So we always will recover the signal which is dqk instead of dk. So since we are receiving this dqk, we cannot recover this dk, but we are having mqk, which is the quantized version of our actual signal sample. So mqk plus dqk will give us, now dqk is what? It is dk plus qk. So mk minus dk plus dqk. So this will be noise, dk plus dqk, this will be the noise. So we'll get the signal value mk plus qk. So this will be nothing but the signal value plus quantization noise. So mqk is nothing but the sample, actual sample value plus some quantization noise. So this is the transmitter, and so this is the transmitter where we are transmitting the difference between the actual sample and the predicted sample value, that is dk is mk minus mqk, and that will be quantized and it will be transmitted over channel. And this mqk we are obtaining using the predictor which we have seen. So that prediction will be done using by knowing the difference value and by knowing the previous sample values. So adding this will be able to find out this m dash qk, that is the quantized value of our kth sample. The receiver, as we have seen, we are getting dqk, and by adding this to mqk, so mqk plus dqk, this will give us mqk, which is the version of, which is the actual sample plus it will be the quantization noise. So this shows that the mqk is quantized version of mk. The predictor input is indeed mqk is assumed. The quantized signal, that is dqk, is now transmitted over channel. The quantized signal dqk is now transmitted over channel. The receiver shows this is the transmitter. The input in both the case, that is okay. Now what is Why we are doing this? Because we want to decrease this delta V, that is quantization level. More the quantization noise will leads to more, it will leads to less signal to noise ratio. So to increase the signal to noise ratio, we are doing, we are using the DPCM scheme. So this is our DPCM transmitter and receiver. Now the special case of DPCM, that is called delta modulation. That is also called, so it is called as delta modulation. Let's stop here. The sample correlation used in DPCM is further exploited in delta modulation by oversampling typically 4 times the Nyquist at the baseband signal. This increases the correlation between adjacent samples, which result in a small prediction error that can be encoded using only one bit. So we are oversampling our signal at very high rate than Nyquist sampling rate, typically more than 4 times. So 4 times the Nyquist rate. So the difference between the successive sample will be very small, and that will leads that we can use only 2 bits or 2 level to encode that particular sample value, particular difference sample value. So this can be represented either 1 plus 1 or minus 1. So that, or either you can represent as 1 or 0. So this particular scheme is called DPCM. Thus in a delta modulation is basically a 1 bit DPCM. There is a PCM DPCM that is using only 2 levels L is equal to 2 for quantization of the sampled MQ minus MQK, that is the sample value minus is predicted quantized value. So in comparison to PCM, that is pulse code modulation, it is very simple and inexpensive method of analog to digital conversion. So you can see that in a in a delta modulation we use first order predictor, and the first order predictor or linear predictor we have already seen. You can see this is the linear predictor which consists of many, you can say this is our input signal mk, which is delayed by different delay line, and this will produce the signal level or sampled version of mk minus 1. This will be mk minus 2, mk minus 1, 3, and so on, and this will be multiply with constant multiplier, that is a1, a2, a3. So this will be the magnitude. Now if this magnitude is equal to 1, so a1 is equal to a2 is equal to a3, all are equal to 1. And let us take, we are having a first order linear predictor. So first order means it will use only simple delay. So the input signal mk, it will given to the delay, so it will produce mk minus 1, and only this will be there, and a1 is also is equal to 1. This will be added here and it will produce the predicted value, that is m dash k. So we are having first order predictor, it means only single delay line will be there. So since in delta modulator we use first order predictor, which is seen in earlier is just a time delay of ts sec. Thus, the delta modulator transmitter and receiver are identical to those of DPCM. In DPCM, we are having a predictor here. So this is DPCM transmitter. So instead of this predictor, we'll use a single delay that will become a 1 bit DPCM or simply a delta modulation, provided we are sampling our signal very much higher than the Nyquist rate. So the delta modulator transmitter and receiver are identical to those of DPCM with a time delay for the predictor. Now it is seen from this that this DK, or simply the quantized version of this signal, that is MQK, is given by, we have already seen this DK is equal to MK minus MQK, where this is the DPCM. So if we'll use, okay, here we have seen mk is equal to, sorry, mk plus 1 is equal to 2 mk minus, so we are, wait, sorry, okay, so this difference is equal to mk minus predicted value. So this will be at the transmitter we are transmitting the difference, and at the receiver we can regenerate this mk by knowing this dk plus the quantized version of dk will receiver at the receiver, and this will be the predicted value. So we'll use same predictor, and which will predict this mqk. So mk can be recovered by knowing the difference value and the predicted value. Now same thing will be there in a delta modulator. So this mqk, that is the quantized sample value, mqk is equal to mqk minus 1 plus the difference. So if we know the difference and we know the previous sample value, then the present sample value can be defined. So this mqk is equal to mqk minus 1 plus dqk. Now if we'll replace this k by k minus 1, so everywhere we have to replace this k by k minus 1. So this will become k minus 1. This k minus 1 will be, instead of k will be equal to k minus 1. So k minus 1 minus 1, this will become k minus 2. Here it is k, so it will be k minus 1. So mq minus 1 is equal to mq minus 2 plus dq minus 1. Now we'll substitute this mq minus 1 in this previous equation. So this equation, instead of this, will substitute this one. So this will become mqk minus 2 plus dqk plus dqk minus 1. Now, so proceeding iteratively in this manner and assuming zero initial conditions, that is mqk term will be equal to 0. We are assuming this initial condition is equal to this term will be equal to 0. So we are having only summation of all this differential difference signal. So mqk is nothing but it is summation of dqm. So this shows that the receiver is just an accumulator or simple adder. If output dqk is represented by impulse, if output dqk is represented by impulse, then the accumulator may be realized by integrator. So output this dqk is impulse, then we are having, we can add all these impulses, then there is nothing but, so if the output is represented by impulse, then the accumulator may be realized by an integrator, because its output is the sum of strength of input impulses. So we may also replace this feedback portion, we may also replace this feedback portion of the modulator by an integrator. We have just seen this. This feedback is nothing but we are having this dqk. So if we'll add some, if we'll sum all this dq, then we'll get mq. So if we'll replace this feedback path with simple integrator, then we can also replace this by integrator. So the demodulated output is mqk. So this signal, when passed through the low pass filter, yields the desired signal reconstructed from the quantized sample. So this figure shows that the practical, sorry, this is the practical implementation of delta modulator. We have replaced the feedback path, which consists of the, previously it consists of the linear predictor, but now we have replaced this by integrator. And as discussed earlier, the first order predictor is replaced by low cost integrator circuit, which consists of simple RC integrator. The modulator consists of a comparator and a sampler in the direct path, comparator and sampler in the direct path, and integrator and amplifier in the feedback path. So the analog signal MT is compared with the feedback signal. The analog signal MT is compared with this feedback signal M dash M cap QT. The error signal dt, there is difference of these two signal, is applied to the comparator. Now if this difference signal, that is dt, is positive, the comparator output is constant signal of amplitude E, and if dt is negative, the comparator output is minus E. Thus the difference is binary signal which consists of only two level, either positive or negative. So L is equal to 2, that is needed to generate a 1 bit DPCM. The comparator output is sampled by the sampler at a rate of fs sample per second, where fs is typically much higher than the Nyquist rate. The sampler thus produces a train of narrow pulses, that is DQK, with positive pulse when MT is greater than the MQT, and negative pulse when this MT is less than this MQT. Note that each sample is coded by a single binary pulse as required. The pulse trend DQK is delta modulated pulse trend. This DQK is delta modulated pulse trend. The modulated signal DQK is amplified and integrated in the feedback path to generate the M-QT, that is the quantized version of our sample signal, which tries to follow this MT. To understand how this works, we note that each pulse in DQK at the input of integrator, each pulse in DQK at the input of integrator give rise to a step function. It can be positive or a negative. So, for example, if MT, the signal MT is greater than this MQT, a positive pulse is generated, and if this MT is less than MQT, then negative pulse will be generated. So it can be seen that M MQT is a kind of staircase approximation of MT. When MQT is passed through a low pass filter, the coarseness of the staircase in MQT is eliminated. So this is our original signal. This signal is compared with this. So if signal MT is greater than MQT, this is our MQT. So if signal is greater than MQT, MT is greater than MQT, then positive pulse will be generated. You can see here these are the positive pulse, and if it is less than the MQT, so this is here we are having less, so the negative pulse will be generated and it will oscillate. So staircase approximation of signals will be there. So this is our actual signal, and this is the demodulated signal using delta demodulator. So this is the signal, this is the thing that will be transmitted, and this will be the error. So when the slope is very large, the signal is there and signal will either quickly rise or it quickly fall, the slope will be very large. So the demodulator or modulator will not catch this message signal. It will not it will not catch this slope, and there will be slope overload error. So this is the positive slope, which is quite high. So the demodulator, or you can say the modulator, try to increment at each level. It will compare and it will see that the MTT, this MT or this XT is larger compared to the present value of the sample, then it will increment by one, or it will generate the impulse, positive impulse, and after passing through the integrator, this will become step, and that step will be added. So this will increment at each impulse till it will reach, and once again it will compare. Now when it will compare, it will see that this level is less than this one, so it will decrement. So this kind of error is called slope overload error. And at each and every level, let us take the demodulator or the delta modulator. We are having a constant signal whose amplitude is not changing very rapidly. Then also this delta modulator will compare at each and every level, so this will generate this kind of noise there, and this noise is called granular noise. In your university exam, there are questions like explain clearly the granular and slope overload noise in a delta modulation and how it can be eliminated. So we'll see how it can be eliminated in next lecture. As well as there are questions like explain delta modulation and demodulation technique, that will be asked in 7 mark. Also in 7 mark, briefly explain delta modulation and adaptive delta modulation, that was asked in 7 mark once again. So these are some of the questions which is being asked in your university exam. And in this lecture we have seen different kind of a modulation, like differential pulse code modulation, basic differential pulse code modulation, then the uh, basic, then improved DPCM, and one more step ahead we are having delta modulation. In next lecture we'll see adaptive delta modulation. So the basic idea is pulse code modulation will use more number of bits. So more number of bit means it require more transmission bandwidth to transmit this signal. So if the difference between the sample is transmitted, then the overall quantization level will be very small, and that can be so the delta V is small, that is the quantization level is small, then we can have less quantization error. And if the quantization error is small, then we can have more signal to noise ratio for given number of given transmission bandwidth or given number of bits. Thank you very much.